Hello everyone, welcome to Lunch and Learn. We have few attendees today, so let's wait for 1 minute. If anybody wants to join, we can start the session. All right, we can start if we have any questions in the chat or in the QA. We can go through it, or else we can show you data repeater, which I thought of showing you also. Let me share my screen real quick. Let me all know if you can able to see my screen. Okay. So if we don't have any questions today, I can show you the data repeater, how it's working in decisions, and how we create the data repeater. So let's create a form for the data repeater. So we will take a simple form, not the simple form, it's just a normal form. Showcasing data repeater. So here we can see the form with grids, and we can have the data repeater. We can adjust our size and the rows. And we will have the data repeater add and remove button. So you can see the add button and the remove button. We should also have a close button. Data repeater add button and data repeater remove button. We can also have some of the sizes. You can see in the grid, we can size our button. I can have this, and can you show how to change the order of the repeater items? Let me see how we are going to set it. First, I will be creating a data structure for it. For example, let me take a simple data structure. So test data, and first name, name, and email address. So this is the test data structure. So here we created the test data structure. Let me save it. And let's go to the data repeater. So showcasing repeater. So let me pick one. Test repeater. And then we can have the text box here. So we can also adjust the size of the rows. So here let's take a text box of first name. Let's pick the data. Test data, repeat test data, which we created recently with the, this is a simple structure. Test data. Let me see. Yeah, we have first name, last name, and email address. So this is the first name. We can have the watermark here. First name. Let me pick the data, form data, first name, and last name. Form data, last name. We can also, if we don't want the column, third column, we can delete it. And the email address. Email address, we can take a mass text box. So this is the mass text box for email address. We can change the general type to email address and pick from data, form data, email address, pick. Email address, and then save it. We have already picked the source which we created, and so when you run it in the flow, let's do a flow. Test data repeater, and we create a flow. So let's see the show form. Pick existing one, recent, showcasing data repeater, close it, and let's see what happens when we run the flow. And we need to save the data. Data structures. So this is the test data structure. Let's save it. We can build the data here. And oh, this is the different one. Test data. I think this is the one. Create test data. So build data. So you can see the structure which I created with the first name, last name, and email address. We can map it in from the form data. Let's run the flow and see how it's doing. We can have the, I haven't added the add and remove button here. So I can have the add and remove button attached to it. Now you can see when I add it, you can see the first name and last name. No, 1 second. I will just give name. The list of test data. So here you can see when I add it, the first name, last name, and the email address. So I haven't mapped in the create one yet. Let me map it. We can take the for each step, and we can map it and save it. We can take the list of test data and can say account item and account item index. So we can map this, select from flow account item, and we can map it. This is the email address, so we can map the email address, the first name, and the first name, and this is the last name. So let's see when we run it. So I added it, the first name, test, last, and email address, test@test.com. When we add this, it will add up, and we can also have the visual indicator showing the selected one. I can show you real quick, like changing the visual indicator. Form selection type visual indicator. So you can see when I saved it. When I run the form again, you can see add data. So you can see the visual indicator line showing up. So let's see, Kyle. And email address test@test.com. So when I save it or close it, I can also rename it. So when I hit close button, it's going to save this data. You can see the entity ID got saved, and when I run the flow again, it will save the data. So the question was, can you also show how to change order of repeater items? Multiple items to the repeater and then decides to change order without deleting and recreating it. So are you talking about inside of the repeater? Like, can we change the order? Like we can have the visual indicator line showing up, and we can add and let's see when we fetch the entities, whether it's saving or not. Create a flow, fetch data. So let's fetch and show it on the form. On the end form, when user adds item to the repeater. Let's see the fetch entities, and then it's the test data, I guess. That's the structure. Entity results. We can rename the first array item. Or we can, instead of fetch, we can also take the data structure, test data, and see like we have only created one record, right? So we can test this. We can use this, either this step or this step. So nothing to worry about. Let's pick one of those. So or we can rename it. Stuff. Test data. Okay, so selected line number, ignore, and we can see the list of test data. Let's see what it's showing up. So it will show up the already filled ones. As you can see, the data is getting saved, and order of the repeater items, I can say like on this form or on the data structure, because I can add data here, and like I can add some data. Change at the test.com. So if I hit close, it's not going to save because we haven't provided any save structure to it. When you add more, okay, on this form, when we add more, can we change the order you want to save? So let's see on the form, like, what are the options it's giving. It says line indicator, or we can have the output from the selected line number. It also shows. So something we can do with this. Can you move first item to be second? Okay. Um, we can have the selected line number. Let's see. I'm sure we can do it, but how to add new row? I think for that we need to have one button, a sub dialog button, I can say, or an AFF to run, which will, let's see. I'm trying to guess with an AFF, because in AFF we can have the get control value and the set control value. So I'm not sure whether we can make it through that process, but let's see. Or there is an easy way to do that. I have the selected line number. Do we have anything here that we change to first to second? Yeah, right. I can, let's try with doing an AFF. Change the line. And the data repeater, maybe selection changed. I'm not sure about it, but let's see. Okay, you can share your screen.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry, we're not allowing people to share their screen anymore. Thanks.
We can get control value. You can see the get control value and the form control which we would like to have is form data, data repeater. You can see the output will show the item source, selected item, and selected line number. And let's see, by doing the set control value, the set control value should be on the form data, data repeater, and the selected line number. Maybe the selected line number we can do a constant and give it a 2, and item source. Let's see what it is. Item source and selected item. Get control value of the selected line number, and let's see what it's, because I think AFF is one method to showcase like the data from first to second. I'm not sure whether we do have the options on the form. Or we can change it through the flow. Oh, it's not allowing me to do because we have oh, let's. So if we run it again, at the, let's run it on the other flow. Okay. Oh, the selected line number which I did is something, it's always going to show the Yale, not the first one. So that's what it meant. But changing the data, like going Yale up and Kyle down, is something I have to look for. Or we can do item number index on that. Let's see. Add item to index. I'm trying different options here. I have never tried it, but this is a good question to change the sequence of the data in the data repeater. Um, or we can do something with the index. Is there something, get item by index? Okay, so we can get item by index. Let's see. Get item by index, which is the list. Form data, data repeater. Item source. So list of string it's asking. We can change the type here. Test data. Item index. We can change to 2. and list of data, which is the form data, data repeater, test data. So this is the item source. Order, or he or she adds item in the repeater. Let's say I have spent 1 hour, then realized I want my number 50 to move up to be 49, and 49 moves to 50. No, no. There is, I think, no need to delete the 50 items and retype all the 50 items. There should be a way to do that, but I'm not sure like what's the right way because I haven't done it before. So I'm just trying to get item by index number at but I'm sure there must be an easy way to do that. Uh, list item, and we can set the control of that list item, or I think get item by index would help. Or we can have let's see, get item by index, and add item to new list. Item, item to list step. So here we need a test data, and we can take this get control value as of the selected item. New item would be the selected item, and the original list will be the list from the test data, which is the data repeater, item source. This is the new list. I'm guessing it would ask the line number so that we can move up the things. Or we can change value here. Change value, list of form data. data repeater item source. I'm not sure whether it would help or not, but let's try. Let's give it a shot. So we are taking that control and get item by index. So I think the list item. I'm checking whether is there any something in the flow we can do, or in the form we can move things up, we can delete it. Add one more information. And this is okay, because there is no first line here, that's why it was not showing. But we have saved the one. Let's run it again. And we have 3 now. Okay, it's something is happening, like Harry is getting added, and you can also see the Kyle one, which is the first one. So we don't want this one, right? The first should be replaced. We can add something later. We want something, right? Because you can see the Kyle is the one, and Yale, Harry, and again Kyle got added. So we want the first one to be deleted, and the third should be around, right? So I think AFF is one of the way to do that. I'm just guessing I should delete the first one, right? So let's see. Let's go on to AFF one more time. I'm not sure whether there is something on the data repeater which we can do, whether it have any options. Let's dive into the data repeater. We want to have up and down functionality on selected item, ideally not buttons, but drag and drop. Okay, so I think for drag and drop, we don't have that functionality yet. Like in the data repeater, we can drag things like you wanted to say, right? Let's add things, and you wanted to say we can drag this part, the first one, into second and second one. I don't think we have the functionality yet. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing we don't have that functionality yet. But we can make the changes, like we can bring into new version. Or I haven't tried this like drag and drop. I haven't tried it. So I'm not sure whether we have that functionality, because you can see I'm just looking at the properties and add to form flows and restricting tab. And this is autofocus first control, override validations. I'm not like we can't drag and drop, I guess. Like we need to twist and turn the data from the flow, but drag and drop is not an option, I guess. But I will definitely discuss with the team and surely, or ask in the channel, support channel, to bring this issue up and see the solution for it. I think there is no option related to it. The only way I can see is the AFF, and another is the sub dialog button, I can say, where we will have a sub dialog button. So this is the sub dialog button, I can say. You can name it as change data or something. So here, when you click on this, we are not using the legacy. So when you click on this, we will have the form to show up. Okay. So JS control is something I'm not aware of. So can you explain more about it? Like, is there any step in the toolbox, or is there any other language? Or we can do a form here to show like what to change the order of the items. We will have different options through AFF and through sub dialog button, so that we can change the data. But drag and drop, I think, is one of the option we need to discuss, like dragging the data. Okay, let's see the JS control. Okay. And we're talking about the JavaScript. Okay. This is new to me. Something we are giving command and okay. So I debug this. Okay, this is something I haven't tried it before through JavaScript, I can say. But this is a place we should look into. And through forms, like drag and drop is not an option through forms for now, I can say. Maybe later version, or what if I don't know, like there is a drag and drop option. But what I learned is like there is no drag and drop option for now. we have to do it through active form flow or any subdialog flows. So that's the only option. And as you are suggesting, like JavaScript, like JavaScript control, we can use this and set it up on the form as it's showing. So that this might be an option, but we still don't know whether it will work on the data repeater or not. So yeah, I will definitely discuss. Okay, it will have, okay. Mm, we can do it on the data repeater as you are saying. Um, okay, I will check with my team and see like the JavaScript is the only option where we can do different uh, change of data in the data repeater, or is there any option in the form that helps to drag in and drag out the data, or we can do it through the active form flow or the sub dialog. That's the question. Yep, I will take this to my team and will surely let you know. But I'm not sure like whether we can do this in through the data repeater. So yeah. Are there any other question we can discuss? If there are no other questions left, uh, we can end the session. And I will definitely ask the team for the workaround of that data repeater. That like the JavaScript is the only way to do that, or is there any other way apart from the active form flow or doing through the flows? But I'm not sure whether drag in and drag out option works on the data repeater.